Hey, everybody.
We decided to push the button. No.
Right?
Today is October 25th, 2024. I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And it is Hanging with Uncle. See, we just did it reverse, but I almost did the outro.
It's all right, man.
Man,
Welcome to Hanging with Uncle.
We have a good one today, honestly.
I think so.
Hopefully you guys had a wonderful week this week. You paid yourself. You took care of yourself. You took care of others. Broke bread with brethren, shared stories, whichever the case. Or if you just survived the week and you're chilling, I'm glad you're there. Glad you're here. How you doing, man?
You know, I'm doing well, man. Golf course is closed for seating.
Okay.
And so I go back to work on Sunday, but it's been nice having a couple of weeks off.
Yeah, I got to chill for a minute.
Yeah.
Not have to wake up early.
Right.
Go to work. Nice. I wish I could say the same.
How about you, man?
Due time. I've been good.
How's new fatherhood been?
Fatherhood is doing great. Yes. Happiness is on the way. Honestly, I'm really excited for the appointment. It's next week. It's on Halloween, and we get to go do a blood draw. And they do get to tell us the gender from that time, which we're also super excited for. But they don't tell us like right away. We have to wait like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's like, another waiting game.
We can't let that spill on the air, man.
I can't get too comfortable.
I know the lid we got to keep on it.
And waiting, because then I just keep thinking every day. It's like, is it then? When is it? When is it? When is it? It's, yes, one less day than yesterday. But time will happen. I'm so impatient. That's what it is. We have an extra challenge where we can't tell my dad either. So we want to find out. We want to tell people, and he has the challenge of not finding out. And we have the challenge of not telling him. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. A little reverse, I guess, on what you're supposed to do. But I don't know. I want to know. I can't not wait. I can't, because then we can be prepared too. You know,
there's something to be said about knowing. Knowledge is power, you know.
And I would much rather be prepared and know ahead of time. That's just my brain itself on its own. So
it's logical.
Yeah, if I know, then I know what colors to get. Even though we're still trying to do like neutral pastel colors, I think, because I like pastel. I like the Smarties kind of colors. You know.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm really excited for fatherhood. Been doing well. Honestly, I feel like I'm doing well. And I don't know why it's like something I feel like I need to talk about, but I feel like my bond with Jackson is getting better and better too. More than that, it's not like I'm saying it was bad, but it's kind of like increasing, growing, and I kind of like that also as well. Seeing that happen and flourish. We've been playing games more often together, which is really fun.
He's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, I mean, of course he is. But I don't know. I just feel like things are like developing and moving forward, and we're doing the things that we want to do, even though we are where we are. Eventually we'll get to that point.
Yeah. We
see not the finish line, but we can see at least the horizon we're running towards, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. I love where our life is going at the moment. That's definitely that for sure.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into it.
Alrighty, let's do it.
I mean, I think to me, breaking news, and it's there's something to be said for it, and that's John Kelly, the chief of staff to Cadet Bone Spurs.
Yep.
And he was the longest serving chief of staff during that administration. And he was asked by Michael Schmidt from the New York Times, what kind of leader he was and what we could expect if he were to be reelected. And John Kelly's a retired 4-star Marine general
who worked side by side with Trump, right?
He was, like I said, he was the chief of staff. He was in the room where it happened.
Yep.
Has basically said how, this moron, this mango moron, would make positive comments like, well, Hitler did good things too. And it's like, dude, you never say that kind of stuff, man.
Chill with that.
You
don't say those kind of things. It's also just, but he's kind of doing it, trying to do it. You can see it, right? Like the opera music and everything. And my dumbass of the week, we'll get to it, is also another thing as well. But I don't know. I see it falling apart, but I don't see the followership decreasing. I'm still seeing like ridiculous commentary and people saying the craziest things about like actually believing him, and it's so bizarre. Like it's weird. We've always been said it's weird.
That base is shrinking. It
I
has
hope
gotten
so.
smaller.
I've been seeing it more in MySpace,
And
honestly.
yeah, with just different things like the hurricane and the relief people were actually getting versus what they were hearing.
Mm.
You know, like in realizing this guy's been lying to me, and looking at him as a convicted felon, and he will be convicted. Well, I mean, sentenced. Let's see, in about 3 weeks. So, like a week after the election, he'll be sentenced by the state of New York for the 34 crimes he's committed. Yeah, but you know sending COVID tests to Putin when we needed him here in the United States and couldn't get him. You know, it's just like he shows where his allegiance is, and it's not to us, not the people of the United States, that he took an oath to serve and protect.
Exactly that. And he has his own agenda, his own plan. And I've always seen the difference between the debates. There was a wonderful little, I would say, debate / conversation about Trump himself with Stephen A. Smith on Fox this morning. I think people should check out. Where he kind of drawed the line of like what happened to Republicans themselves. Like he's like, Trump is not what people are making him out and or saying to be, and he's saying this live on television, on Fox,
Yeah,
in argumentative ways and fashions, and loud too in Stephen A. fashion. And it's just like he would much rather listen to somebody who can speak, and that's exactly where I was going to get to. Is that Kamala talks about her policies. Trump doesn't talk policy ever. I don't ever see him talk policy and say this is what we're doing and how we're going to do it is. He doesn't say any of that.
but if you listen closely, he is telling us his policy, and his policy
It's fear-mongering.
is very scary, man. If he's able to convince the DOJ, now remember, he would be in the executive branch, so he'd be in charge of the FCC, right? So CNN, CBS, MSNBC, you and me would be shut down because we have not pleasant things to say about him. We tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and he would do things like that, which is the same thing Hitler did, which is John Kelly was trying to tell us. So when you get rid of the voice of the people and have just one national voice like Fox, and that's the only thing you ever get to hear, you know, we truly would be in a fascist regime. And I don't know that we'd ever come back from that, man.
I completely agree. And it's just, I feel like it's common sense, but it's not so common. A lot of people say that, and it's so true. Like, the entire fear-mongering push that he does during his speech, using words and terms that just make people, like get that fear, right? Like, millions and billions, he exaggerates a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do this and get all of them, the enemy within, you know, they... He talks about, like, the others, them. He always does the fear-mongering approach when he talks about anything and everyone, besides talking about policy and what he's actually going to do here in America.
Fear works in politics.
It does.
And like you said, okay, the fear of immigrants coming over to take your jobs and, you know, rape your women and steal your
6
whatever.
million have come through, right?
That fear.
When the Biden administration, on average, let in the same amount as immigrants the Trump administration did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the exaggeration, or even then, just like, he makes it sound like it's now. You know, now it's happening, rather than over an extensive amount of periods of time. He talks about the total of immigrants or migrants versus the amount of migrants that are actually turned away because of their background, or turned away because of their representation, or turned away because of what they have possession-wise, right?
We could go down the list of the fear-mongering that's going on. I'll just leave it at they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
Which is another one, right?
If that's like a definite fear play.
The best, especially for people who love dogs and cats, right? He's trying to pull certain things from the air.
And calling those people illegal when they're there legally and started going there legally under his administration.
Exactly. So it's just, I don't understand why exactly, and why it's even remotely close, to be honest. But
so, but man, that's what he's telling us he's going to do, man.
Yeah.
He's telling us his plan will be revenge, retribution, imprison my political opponents, and I'll be a fascist because everything will run through me and I'll make all the decisions, and everything will be about me.
Understood.
And about
That's
loyalty.
what I see every time.
Yeah. So he's definitely a fascist, man. I mean, I think it was Monday I, put the definition of a fascist in the description box. But yeah, man, he's, they're warning us. But remember, it's not him. There's other people in the room too, like Mark Esper, his defense secretary, his vice president, Mike Pence.
Yep. Who, again, I always tip my hat to for sticking with the Constitution every time.
Right.
But
I mean, so again, these are people that were in the room with him that are telling us how dangerous it would be to have him in the White House. And I believe them. They were there. They were the ones that know. They're the ones telling us, again, it would be a very, very bad decision. We would lose democracy if he were to be reelected.
There's a reason why Pence isn't there, right?
Exactly.
So
again, would love to know your thoughts, but I think it's, and people I've heard also say, well, it's too little too late. How come he's just not coming out and saying it? But, military personnel are non-political.
And then isn't there like a fear thing when they're talking about just like Kamala's like border immigration thing where it's going to make us go bankrupt? Aren't we already technically bankrupt? We just pay off what we need.
So the United States has the strongest economy in the world, and we have a lot of debt. But what keeps our economy booming is that we're able to pay our debt. This
with the help of migrants coming here.
If you look at the way Hamilton built the Treasury, it's built on a system of debt.
Yeah.
So when I hear balance the budget, I'm like, ha ha ha! It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. No, we're paying things off. No, that's
right.
That's kind of how I was. Like, it's just that fear again. It's always his approach. I don't see why people are falling for it, and still, it's a possibility that he can possibly be president also as well. It's just times need to change. We need to move on.
Well, I know I cast my vote for Kamala already.
I voted. I'm keeping my vote private because that's what you should do. It's what I was raised to do. It's kind of clear. Anyways, the next one.
So, I think this is very interesting here, and this is a proposition on the Arizona ballot, Proposition 140.
Yes.
Which would give us ranked choice voting in Arizona.
Which would give us the opportunity to look at each candidate based on what their stance is on policy instead of the team. Correct?
Correct. And more importantly, if you remember, we talked about this before. I was a member of state committee. I know you remember that.
Yes, I do.
And it was such a fight to look at those people, all the other members of state committee, to look like scared muskrat ready to run in their holes of the idea of allowing independent people to participate in the Democratic primary.
Right.
And Republicans feel the same way. Mm-hmm. And because independent voters in the state of Arizona now outnumber registered Democrats, they're like, look, it's about time we had a say in our democracy, a voice in our representation.
It's a good start to making everything fair.
It is. So, say, for example, right, we have 2 Republican candidates and 2 Democratic candidates, and under a ranked choice system, say the 2 Democrats get more votes than the two Republicans, come November, the election will be between the two Democrats. That's ranked choice voting. That's what happens when you let everybody have a vote. And that's just a hypothetical. It works the same if
and hopefully
two Republicans won.
I honestly hope it wouldn't represent just Republican, Democrat, Independent. They need to just be them, honestly.
Well, I mean, and I agree, but it would also allow that independent candidate to get on the ticket
And get the opportunity.
For the people.
We could have a Democrat and an Independent.
You know, and that's what ranked choice voting gives us.
I'll be really interested in that debate, actually.
You know, I'm for it, man.
That would be really, honestly, interesting to see. Because there are two fair points that I do agree with majority of all three, I would say. So it's like, that argument or that debate would interest me and pique my interest more than blue versus red, you know? Like, Red versus Blue was on YouTube, and it was Halo back in the day. You know,
right?
I'm talking. We need to have the. I have said the Independent Party does need to have a representation, especially when the state, like you said earlier, is majority independent now.
And I believe under the current trend, it won't be long before there will be more registered independent voters than Republican voters.
I changed myself to independent. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it really is that's how you should really look at politics. I should not pick a team. I don't want to be on any team. I'm not picking the independent team either. I'm picking to choose who I...
And we get to look at the candidates and what the candidates stand for, and that's what ranked choice voting gives us.
Yes.
And, and again, it allows us, you and me, the people, to have a say in who will be our representative. And sorry, but when you don't think like a team mentality, the only people that oppose 140 are those that support their teams, meaning control of government power in the state instead of allowing the people to make the decisions.
And there's definitely going to be those people that are like, oh, this is the plan from the Democrats just to keep the Democrats in and blah, 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 because they're going to try to change Arizona to California. I saw that on the car earlier today. And I it's not what we're trying to do here. I actually truly believe Arizona is fairly, very green and independent.
Yeah.
Like, the red part of Arizona is like the top layer of seasoning on the meat now. Like, it's about to fall off, and we are actually the meat of everything, right?
I think it shows a couple of things. Number one, this was a ballot initiative.
Yep.
I remember I signed the petition for this to be on the ballot for November.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, wow, nice.
Even though I'm no longer involved in politics, I still know where to go to sign the petitions.
Right.
So I did that, and I definitely voted yes. I support ranked choice voting here in Arizona.
I do like talking props, so I do talk my stance on props. And yeah, I did also vote for 140 as well, I believe. A few others that piqued my interest as well, but we're not going to go through all that. That's all boring. We're going to stick with the 140 here. Now, with the whole California and Arizona thing, I think we need to kind of clarify on that, because I did throw that out there, but we're going to reel it back. That's the fear of people seeing this place change, I feel. No one likes to see Arizona change, and I think they see it on the horizon, and they're freaking out. Like,
without a doubt.
And I'm not saying they, as in fear-mongering, as other people, whatever, whoever's in the shadows. I mean the people who have been having it the way they want it to be for so long and are seeing the change. I've been seeing the repetitious pattern of it, kind of like socially in a way. These people either want to, A, leave their final vote to keep it the way it was before they go, or B, want to keep it the way it was because they were either raised that way, their husband votes that way, or... it's the American way. Hi, man. But I do see Arizona. If we were to do a blue, red, and green map, we would be the greenest of the green.
So I remember when California voting system was before ranked choice voting. And now I look at the results of ranked choice voting and what it's allowed the people to do instead of what it's a party is telling them what they have to do.
It gives us more power.
It gives us, the people, more power.
Yeah, I can agree to that too. I think we talked about that on
We did.
episode beforehand.
But more importantly, I think, and this is where I wish, I guess it's the millennials that have a problem with us baby boomers. But, to me, instead of looking at us like we're the enemy and we're the problem, we're fighting for the same stuff and have been fighting for it. I'm 64 years old, so at least for 60 years, our generation has been fighting for the things that we're accomplishing now, like ranked choice voting, because we have a younger generation to join us and have a more louder collective voice.
Do you remember how much of a different perspective we had before when we first started hanging out versus now?
Yeah.
How much of we think more about the same of everything now, not because we hang out more often, but we kind of talk things through and figure things out together in a way. I think that is what literally government should be. People are able to talk stances, viewpoints, discuss it, rather than debate and yell, but converse,
right,
and come to a conclusion, right? Like beforehand, you and I thought way differently. Voting blue, but you were very hardcore vote blue.
I think we wanted the same things. We just had different means to go about getting them.
Exactly, yeah, different perspectives. Now it's more of we understand that even then the old system can kind of be too old for the new generation that's coming up. Because not only does my generation have a lot of different mindsets and ways of thinking, not saying that your generation doesn't think well, but there was a moment in the Ben Shapiro argument that there was a debate online. Go check that out too. He was really awesome. Where Shapiro debated a trans man, and he has no representation in America for being a trans man, because technically he's a female, but those rights are being taken away. What represents him? And he brings that up in his conversation. Our generation has a different mindset on how things are thought than your generation was back in the day. Because there's different fights. There's different things now. There's different rights that people are fighting for these days.
We've evolved, man. We've progressed.
Thank you. We have moved forward.
I think a majority of us have progressed and those of us that have not.
And not saying that you don't share that mindset, but we had to somehow think that everyone has a say-so in their own different way, but we all have to come together in their own way. It's been a weird ride here, guys.
It really has.
Thinking about it and thinking back.
Just knowing what the right side of the aisle stands for, their stance on banning abortion, their stance on flooding the marketplace with assault weapons. I knew their platform was nothing that I stood for, so I was a Democrat.
But was it always that way?
No.
It has changed.
It has definitely changed, and in my opinion, it's changed when Obama was elected, because I think they lost their mind because a black man was in the White House.
I truly believe that it's the fear of the culture change. The majority of America isn't Christian anymore. That's what they're fearing. So they got to tie to one group that is honestly now pushing that massive Christian agenda. Not saying that Christianity is disappearing, but I'm saying there's more people thinking independently and differently about it.
You know what I think it is? I think people are also realizing, look at Jerry Falwell and the Heritage Foundation. You're pushing this Christianity, but look at the way you're living with your mistresses and the abortions you've paid for and the affairs you've had.
You're being
telling me how to live. Boom, he's a Pharisee. This is coming right out of the Bible, man.
And you're supposed to be a Christian person.
Right, and that's what people are pushing back against. I think, okay, I still believe I'm a Christian, but I don't go to Mass to be indoctrinated anymore. I've been taught and I know how to live and treat people.
Yeah, and treat people as humans, right? Be humane with them. Understand, love thy neighbor, blah, blah, all that normal nonsense,
Good Samaritan.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So it's those that have those other mindsets that doesn't fall in line with that, they're losing grasp of what they've had, and they're trying to find what they can hold on to. And that is what the other side really has left. If you take Christianity out of the Republican Party's push, what do they have? What backing do they have? I'm going to be dead honest.
They're using it as a boogeyman. Again, I'm selling it as fear.
Exactly. So good. So come over here because God's here. God is good. All the Christian believers are gonna, or the evangelist ones, or the really extreme ones. My parents are Christian and are definitely not Trump supporters.
Yeah.
But that's who they fear. They fear who my parents are. Black, white, interracial couple, does adoption,
Yeah.
votes blue. Christian. That's what they fear. And they're starting to notice that there's more than what they expected.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I think more people are turning away from organized religion than they are from Christianity itself.
Which is also fearful in a way because, oh no, that means Islam's around now. That means terrorists are here, right?
And they're not getting money. The fewer people that are coming in, the fewer people that are giving that donation.
That means more illegal people are going to be here because more other religions are here too. They also share that same fear and mindset.
Yeah.
There are other Christians who do believe, yes, others are allowed to believe in what they believe in. I make the joke every time in my class, and I'm sorry, babe, that I do, that God and all his other variations, I say it out loud. No one rebuttals. Because it's true.
It is.
Done deal.
It is.
Anyways. That's what I was raised. That's how I was taught. That's what I think is happening right now. They're just starting to realize that's what it is. Girlfriend's a prime example. She started thinking differently, and parents thought she was going to not talk to them anymore, and she's going to be gone forever. And she's like, no, we're living our lives the way we want to, and
amen.
Understanding that her women's rights are being taken away, and she's not going to vote red because of that. Like, she's a smart girl.
You know, women are going to play a major role in making sure Kamala Harris is the next president.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Dumbass of the week. Let's get it. Mine. Trump gets it. I don't pick him on him often because I try not to put him in my crosshairs. He's an easy target. But I can't not talk about how easy of a target he was today, leaving a burger joint, getting into his SUV with all of his security around, the camera facing away from the crowd that's cheering behind him, that he's not waving at directly either. He kind of stares off into space and just looks this way, waves that way, looks that way, and walks away because there's no crowd there.
Yeah.
Dumbass of the week material. Whew, excuse me, right there. Yeah, you're not staging a crowd. We're gonna know, man.
Not to mention, the McDonald's was closed, so he wasn't
When he
even
did
really
his
working
drive-thru
in
thing.
there.
Yeah, when he did his drive-through fries.
Yeah.
This wasn't a McDonald's. This was a different burger joint. But the McDonald's thing, yeah, that was closed too as well. That was also fake and stunted. Yep. Dumbass of the week.
Definitely. So I have a hero of the week.
Okay.
And my hero of the week, I don't even know his or her name or their names. But in Mesa County, Colorado, just the election workers, the ballot workers, noticed irregularities with some of the ballots. And like the signatures looked the same, like the same person had written them. And so they contacted the voters to say, hey, look, we need you to cure your ballot, which means fix it.
Yeah.
You know, your signature doesn't match. And they're like, well, I haven't even gotten my ballot yet.
Yeah.
You know, so they found at least a dozen so far.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's like they're on it. But what they did was they put all the ballots to mail them back in a post office box, one of those blue boxes on the corner.
Yeah.
Which now makes it a federal crime because you put it in a federal post box, which means now you're going to have postal investigators and the FBI all looking to see who this person is.
Wait, am I not supposed to drop my ballot off in just random boxes? Or?
Well, no, I mean, if you know you did, that's fine. You know your
Oh,
signature's
okay.
going to match.
Ooh, I was sweating for a second. Like, wait.
Yeah, so some people were like, "Hey, I haven't received my early ballot yet. Where is it?" It's just like, it's the red flags are going off, and there's a huge investigation.
Okay.
You know,
I put my ballot in the box at work. That's what I did. That's why I was like, wait, I can't just drop it off in a random box. No, that's the same out box. We can do the same thing.
I made a party of it, man.
No,
we drove our ballots down to the county recorder's office and put it in the ballot drop box right there on the county recorder property, and then went downtown and had a little bar hopping fun.
Nice.
To celebrate our vote.
Nice. Very cool. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. Hope you had a wonderful time listening to us today. Tune in throughout the week. If you missed us live, definitely tune in and talk to us in the comments. We'll definitely reply to you, get back to you. Get in the conversation. I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And it's been Hanging with Uncle. Finally did the outro.
Right.
You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, please remember, be kind to one another and treat each other the way you want to be treated.
Pay yourself, of course.
All right. Good night.